At the request of Ambassador Tsunis, I have the privilege of introducing the ambassador. I was just given that opportunity to do so. Please welcome George J. Tsunis, a beloved friend and extraordinary ambassador here in the United States, on behalf of the United States to Greece. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much. By the way, he used to be a good basketball player too, so he knows what he's doing.
Thank you, Father Alex. Είναι μια ιδιαίτερη τιμή και μεγάλη χαρά να είμαι μαζί σας σήμερα. Ήμουν στον Άγιος Όρος πριν μια εβδομάδα. Και μου είπαν αυτά τα πράγματα τα έχει χτίσει ο Άγιος Αθανάσιος. And please understand, I have tremendous reverence for saints of our holy church. But I did think somewhat out loud that we too have a Saint Athanasios amongst us. And he's married to Marina. So όταν το γνώρισα το κύριο Μαρτίνο, κάθε μέρα έχει ένα στυλό και χαρτί στη τσέπη του και το σταματάει αυτός που έχει το μπακάλικο, το σταματάει αυτός ο ταξιτζής και το ρωτάνε για όλα. Και δεν λέει όχι. Είναι ο καλύτερος άνθρωπος της Ελλάδας. Ευχαριστώ για τη φιλία σου. It's a tremendous honor for me to be here today with His Eminence Archbishop Elidophoros and my fellow archons, so many of you longtime friends, to reaffirm our shared commitment to ensuring each person of all faiths and beliefs can live a life of conscience and dignity and respect. I'm struck by the fact that we are opening this conference on what is in the United States Memorial Day, a day on which we honor those Americans who died upholding our unalienable rights, including the fundamental right of freedom of conscience and belief. So tonight I offer these words in honor of those who gave the ultimate measure of devotion to our great democratic experiment. When we stood up a government in the United States, we built our democracy using the principles that were born right here in ancient Athens, actually not far from here. It was for the first time there was a sense of self-determination, that people got to choose by whom and how they would be governed. It is one of the many debts of gratitude we owe the ancient Greeks. The right to practice our faith peacefully and openly is a core tenet of American and Greek democracy. Freedom of conscience is a right from which so many other rights spring. It is our guardianship of this right which ensures great countries like ours will continue to be beacons of freedom and opportunity. Now, some of you know I was an altar boy in New York until I was 17 years old. Like my father before me, I've been an archon most of my adult life, and it is an honor to join you all today to continue this work that I know we all believe in. We believe it in our hearts, work that matters. These values that we uphold this evening, values of universal love, patience, humility, forgiveness, Philadelphia, are the only things that can end the cycle of human war and bring peace, stability, and prosperity to the world. For blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. We find ourselves in very challenging times, a very challenging political moment, a moment of great fear and uncertainty, like so many Americans, and a great friend to so many of us in this room, President Biden. Our faith sustains us in our lives, including in the darkest times. But for many people around the world, freedom of religion remains elusive. As President Biden has said, In recent years, hate has been given too much oxygen. Far too many worldwide are persecuted for freely practicing their faith. Repressive governments and extremists continue to reach across borders and target people of all faiths for their beliefs. We are also in a moment in which the teachings of our Orthodox Church are being weaponized. I know that you find this categorically unacceptable. It was President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, his notion of 4 freedoms, which formed the basis of humanitarian international law that took shape after World War II. These key signposts is my understanding of rights. These rights are freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom from want, and freedom for fear. FDR understood for a society to truly be free, all people must be free to practice their religion and follow their consciousness without fear, whether they are gathering for worship, attending school, or just walking down the street wearing a symbol of their faith. A line from a Jewish high holiday song comes to mind. Let my house be a house of prayer for many nations. Our great democracies are not formed as theocracies. They are based on an ideal that many come together to create one strong whole. This is an ideal for which we all must continue to fight. This is where religious diplomacy can make a major difference. We must work together as interfaith coalitions in concert with governments and international organizations to ensure that everyone has the right to practice their faith freely and without fear. The work of protecting religious freedom is never finished. That is why Congress established the Office of International Religious Freedom at the Department of State in 1998. That is why we have published the International Religious Freedom Report every year since. This is why promoting religious freedom is an essential pillar of our foreign policy. This is what our values are about. This is what our ethos are about. Now, turning to a more personal note, Jesus said, I am not here to judge, I am here to help. There is no greater guide for our conduct, for we are obligated to be loving, to be understanding, to be humble, and to be forgiving. Blessed are they who do hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Jesus did not implore us to welcome just some strangers, but all strangers, to love just not the neighbor who looks like us, but also the neighbor who does not. Our faith obliges us to welcome the stranger and love our neighbor. The very concept in this country of philoxenia. Now this means people to whom we disagree politically. This means people who we have a different skin color from our own. This means people who pray to a different God and people who may not even pray at all. People with disabilities. This means LGBTQI plus people and refugees from foreign lands. Ξέρετε την ιστορία την οικογένεια μου. Ο πατέρας μου ήταν ορφανός, μάνα και πατέρα από ένα μικρό χωριό, ήξεραν φτώχεια, ήξεραν πείνα. Τα σπίτια τους δεν είχαν ρέμα, δεν είχαν νερό και η τουαλέτα ήταν την άλλη πλευρά τη καλύβα. But my parents were able to go to the United States. They were welcomed. They were able to build their lives, if not rebuild their lives. They were able to give their kids a great education, build businesses, get married, have children, and gave me the opportunity to serve my country. This is the promise of America. This is what makes it such a great country. But everyone should have that opportunity. There's 117 million displaced persons in the world, half of which are children. They're not coming to destroy society. They're fleeing war and oppression and community violence. They're coming here in search for the same things my parents did and many of your parents or grandparents. They come for opportunity. They come for a better life, to be able to become the best versions of themselves, to climb the ladders of success. There's a lot of hatred and divisiveness out there, and we must drown it out, and we must make sure that we work towards a world of opportunity and possibility, acceptance, inclusion, and kindness, because democracy works best when it works for everyone. I'm proud that the U.S. Embassy partners with the Greek government and civil society on building a fully inclusive society consistent with these obligations. The Greek government has taken groundbreaking steps towards building a society that honors these teachings. Everyone should love who they love, be who they are, and be accepted by everyone. This is the dignity of acknowledgement. This is human dignity, that all humans have a right to self-determination and the pursuit of happiness. More centrally, love is love. The ecumenical patriarch Bartholomew has said, love is a language that the blind can see and the deaf can hear. I heard that from Father Alex for the first time, by the way. Now, I'm not here to preach to any of you. You are far better people than I am. But we all need to do more. We all need to expect more of ourselves, our communities, and our church, to give more of ourselves, to offer more love, more kindness, more brotherhood, more forgiveness in our lives, in our homes, in our communities, and in this world. We must walk the walk, arm in arm. Now we will continue to fall short of our high expectations of ourselves. Let this not dissuade us from continuing to do the work. You know, we like to quote Martin Niemöller, who during the Holocaust said first they came for the trade unionists and I said nothing. Then they came for the socialists and I said nothing. Then they came for the Jews and I said nothing. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak up for me. But I like Dr. Johann Prinz, who was the chief rabbi of Berlin at that time. And he said, paraphrasing, the greatest sin of the Holocaust was not the murder, it was the silence. We cannot be nations and persons of silent onlookers. We need to stand up and speak up for each other. This is needed more than ever today. The Talmud says, you are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. Not abandoning the work is a fundamental part of our work as archons. We aren't here for quick wins. We are here to preserve a core set of values about human goodness. And as this organization is 2 millenniums, I think everyone understands the importance of the work and the importance of this great organization. We know this is a long game, and I'm honored to walk beside you in this journey. Now, I have a dream. We are here at a conference that focuses on democracy, religious freedom, and human rights. Important work by important people, a great organization that brings us all together this evening, Axios. And my dream is that one day we will be together in Athens or Jerusalem or in Rome or in Constantinople, and we will say mission accomplished, that the work is done, that everyone's inalienable rights are protected, that religious freedoms are available to everyone in the world, that everyone has the opportunities that we are blessed to have. But sadly, that day is not today. The need remains. The work continues. The cause endures. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.